Well, today is the day. It's earnings day. It's more exciting to me than the Super Bowl. I'm just being honest. There are the scores. Then there's the commentary from the players and the coaches and the pundits. There's even the future plans of the owners with regard to next season. Yeah, this is ours. This is my Super Bowl. Don't know about you. Let me know in the comments below which one is more exciting. So I don't care by how much, but I do believe there will be a beat on auto margins due to better than expected cost of goods sold and reductions, maybe based on the IRA impact on battery costs, because we are now building a fair number of 4680s in Austin. We don't know how many, but it doesn't take many to have an impact. I think the beat on operating margins will even be better due to better than expected net income from energy sources, storage, and therefore there will be a better than expected beat on the earnings per share. I have no idea, but I am hoping for a 2.2 minimum goal, 2.2 million automobiles, vehicles sold as a minimum goal for 2024 with a possible aspirational target of 2.4 or higher. I continue to be at 2.35 as my expectation for the year, but I'm still shaky about that. I'm still trying to think it through. I'm not quite sure. I'm really hoping for an update on the 4680 and that they still expect to hit that run rate of 100 gigawatt hours by mid-year. That would be extremely bullish, although I'm not sure the market would get why, unfortunately. Maybe there will be enough data behind that statement to get the street to figure out that there's a $4.5 billion net savings to cost of goods sold when they hit the 100 gigawatt level. But remember, if they hit 50, it's still $2.25 billion in net savings to cost of goods. Well, other than that, I look for a more upbeat Elon Musk. Even if he still says he thinks there'll be a recession this year, that he'll be looking beyond the recession and concentrate on the falling interest rates and the massive opportunities that Tesla has, regardless of a minor recession. I'd also love to hear more color on the expected advertising efforts. Not sure we will, but maybe, who knows? By the way, he's not going to say anything about his compensation plan, although he might clarify his reasons for caring about it is so that the board cannot pursue profits over human safety as AI products start to become the most important part of the Tesla mission. What are you hoping for in the earnings call? Please let me know in the comments below. Now, this is Randy Kirk. I'd like you to hit like and subscribe and notify. I'm going to have Larry Goldberg on later today, right after the earnings call is over. We will start recording the minute it's over. We will record probably for a half an hour to 45 minutes, and boom, it'll be up. Expecting that'll go public around 4:30 California time, something like that. I'll also have a pregame show around 11 o'clock this morning. We'll cover more information about what we know as we get really, really close to the end of the market day and Tesla's numbers coming out. Now, you're also going to hit, Patreon. I'd love to have you join up and help me support the channel. $3, $5, or 10. The information is down below. And of course, we are still selling those Cybertruck bottle openers. So jump in and get some of those information below in the description. Okay. In polling the community, it appears that the range for the earnings per share is from 70 cents. Larry Goldberg is in that category. We've got Gary Black around 73. And then we've got, I forget who it was, but the highest out on there is 85. I believe the street is coming in at 73 cents. So that'll give you some kind of an idea of what to look for today. So a beat would be anything over 73 cents. That's my understanding right now. Again, I'll give you more on that when we have the pregame show around 11 California time. Kathy Wood goes on the record about Elon's compensation plan. She's 100% behind Elon having 25% of the voting rights. She quotes this way. She says, this is her quote, "Elon Musk is a visionary leader. He's our Renaissance man. He's the inventor of our age. We are looking for visionary leaders looking to stand up to short-term oriented shareholders." That's from Kathy Wood this morning. Well, okay. tons of news. Probably the number one news story the last 24 hours is regarding the Gen 3 vehicle, also known as the $25,000 compact, also known as the Model 2, and a host of other monikers. The code name turns out to be Redwood. We had heard that name mentioned, at least once before a few months ago. Reuters is saying that the car is coming out in mid-2025, and that the evidence is compelling for this because it's coming from 4 suppliers and it's based on quotation requests. But I'm not convinced at all. First of all, it's too pat. It looks to me like a setup. Even the timing, the day before earnings. I'm sticking with the end of 2024, which Brian White did a video with me yesterday, which you need to see. I'll put a card up on that in a few minutes. Brian says that his information is that and the evidence that we see on the ground from Joe Tegmeyer is that we're looking at the end of this year is when it's going to start to roll out. In other words, when we'll have the handover, when we'll have probably have a big event down in Texas. Tesla may be trying to avoid the Osborne effect on the Model 3. I'm sorry, having an Osborne effect on the Model 3 by giving the impression that it's 18 months out. And then they'll beat, and that'll be a good thing, right? Of course, for the long-term stockholders, it doesn't matter whether it's the end of this year or the middle of next year. It's still fantastic news. Now, the Reuters article also said that the quote requests were for 10,000 parts per month. Well, assuming that there's 1 part per car, that would suggest they expect to build 10,000 cars per month. If those parts are to be delivered starting in July of 2024, that means the ramp would be far along at that point. In other words, they'd be talking about 120,000 run rate by the middle of next year. That would be like starting from zero? No, you see, that's more evidence that the handover is going to be at the end of this year. That's when we're going to see all the meetings in Austin, et cetera. And by the middle of 25 rather, is when we'll see a run rate of 120,000 a year. By the end of the year, probably the run rate doubles to 250,000 because it's going to be extremely aggressive in the ramp. Anyway, in all of the excitement, folks are not interested in doing the math. This is the math I did 2 months ago. Again, why do you come to this channel? I hope you come to the channel partly because I'm coming to you. I'm bringing you stuff that nobody else is talking about. And what I'm talking about here is 1 million per year of these cars will be total revenue of 25,000 times a million. That's 25 billion, are about the same as 500,000 Cybertrucks or 100,000 semi-trucks or 10,000 megapacks. Yes, it will expand the TAM for Tesla autos generally, and it will undoubtedly help to get Tesla towards all of its goals because we'll get more cars on the road. And yes, that will bring us more units that will eventually get FSD and robotaxi profits. But so does the Cybertruck and so does the semi-truck. Listen, I'm thrilled that it's coming out. I think it's one more cool thing. But when you compare it to the potential for Cybertruck at 1 million units a year, or when you compare it to the idea of semi-truck at 1 million units a year, it pales in comparison. And then when you're talking about energy at potentially 1 terawatt per year, $450 billion a year, all by itself with $100 billion in profit, no, we're not talking the same thing. Then you want to talk about Optimus? No, it's not on the same planet. Anyway, some are saying that Tesla stock is up this morning due to the news of Gen 3. I don't think so. And by the way, the stock was barely up last time I looked. We'll take a look at that in a minute. Today, the market, the stock, Tesla stock is going to be all about the earnings. Who knows how people will anticipate. We're so beaten down now. The stock is so beaten down, even in the face of all this amazing news. It should be at all-time highs based on the Cybertruck launch, the FSD version 12 being out, the Optimus video, and so much more incredible news, including the Gen 3 announcement today. But here we are. We're nowhere near the all-time high. We're still sitting at 210, about half of the all-time high. Will we get a shocking result tomorrow if Tesla beats and Elon is in a good mood? Still looking for your comments below. Love to hear from you. All right. Holmar's blog says this morning about the FSD version 12. He says beta 12 is the breakthrough we've been waiting for. And then on X, Elon agreed, saying version 12 is the breakthrough. Yeah. Then we have Carwow. Carwow did another, does great videos. I should learn something from him. I mean, okay, I'm not as comedic as he is, so I guess I can't be him. All right, anyway, Carwow did another great video yesterday comparing the Cybertruck with the Ford Lightning and the Rivian R1T. He gave some positive points to each of the cars for various aspects, various pluses and minuses. I actually thought in some cases he was kind of missing it in evaluating the car seats. He didn't mention the ventilation. In mentioning the interior cabin, he didn't mention the $100,000 audio system in the seat, the Cybertruck. Anyway, I kind of thought he was all over the place a little bit, but it was still a fun video. It was a good video, and he did think that the Cybertruck is still in a completely different class of vehicles compared to the other vehicles. And he also does a race at the end. I didn't get that far. I only watched half. I still recommend you check it out. I'll watch the other half later today and let you know more as I find out more. Anyway, I had a comment yesterday in the comments on YouTube, and this gentleman, I think is a man, saying he was going to buy one more ICE car right now. He's going to buy a brand new ICE car, and he'd wear it out in 10 years, and then he'll buy his EV then. And I scratched my head and I wrote back, and these weren't my exact words, but this is kind of what I had to say to him. So Teslas are the safest cars you can buy. They have by far the best performance of any car you can buy, much better than ICE cars. The creature comforts are much better in a Tesla than any ICE car out there right now. They'll cost you about the same at the sticker price when you buy them, especially after some of the incentives, the federal IRA incentive. A lot of states have incentives on top of that. And then they'll save you immense amounts of money over the first 3 years of ownership due to not having to do any any maintenance, not having to buy gasoline, not having to go to gasoline stations. And so my final question was, why do you want to buy an ICE car? What benefits does it give you? What is the argument for buying an ICE car right now? Now, listen, if you need a small pickup truck or you need a step van or, there's things you cannot buy right now in terms of a BEV. But if you want a sedan or an SUV, I can't figure out. So let me know down below. Are you going to buy a new SUV or a new sedan in the next year or so? And right now you're still planning to buy an ICE car? Would you let me know that in the comments below, and let me know why? What is your reason why you're going to do that? I cannot figure it out. Okay, from the Wall Street Journal this morning, profits dropped sharply at regional banks in the fourth quarter, including at the bigger ones that have generally fared better than their smaller peers. Net income was down 90% from a year earlier at KeyCorp, around 70% down at Citizens Financial, and more than 40% down at PNC Financial Services Group. Truist Financial also swung to a loss. Mid-sized players also struggled. Net income was down around 90% at Comerica and more than 50% at Zions Bank Corporation. The Federal Reserve is positioned to end its aggressive campaign to curb inflation, which could offer some release to these banks after interest rates hit the highest levels in decades. But recent uncertainty around potential rate cuts has muddled the outlook and is continuing to hurt these banks. We're in very uncertain economic period here. KeyCorp Chief Financial Executive Chris Gorman told the Wall Street Journal, it requires that we run many scenarios as we just figure out the full range of possibilities. This is yet another reason for the Fed to cut sooner and more. That's my new mantra, sooner and more. Not only are these small and mid-sized banks hurting, but also we have the commercial real estate market hurting especially on the business offices part of the game, and lowering interest rates would help both. Anyway, I've been pounding this table for a long time. I think they should cut next week. We'll see what happens with the PCE print on Friday. All right. And then Zillow upgraded its home price forecast, predicting that U.S. home prices will rise 3.5% in 2024. And then on an interesting note from primary polling yesterday, immigration was the number one issue among Republican voters, not the economy, not wars, and not abortion. This is a huge surprise to me. And I think, given the location of where Iowa is and where New Hampshire is, I think this is probably due to the work of DeSantis and Texas Governor Connolly busing those illegal immigrants to the north. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below. So, where are the markets now? Let's take a quick look here. We have got, let's start as usual with where Tesla really is this morning. Well, see, it was up 2 and a little more than 2. It is down to only being up 42 cents. All of the Magnificent Seven had been up. Now Apple is slightly down, but the rest of them are up, and some strongly. NVIDIA is up 13. So NVIDIA is doing quite well this morning. Now Tesla has just passed into red at down 18 cents. The Cathie Woods are mixed, where they were all up just a little while ago. And when I looked earlier, well, let's go back and let's finish here before I move on. Okay, so we have got the Dow Jones up 78, the NASDAQ up 114, S&P up 23, Tesla again down 29 cents at this point. If we look at the percentages, we've got the Dow Jones down 0.21%, NASDAQ down 0.74, S&P, I'm sorry, all those are up. I'm so sorry. Dow Jones up 0.21, NASDAQ up 0.74, S&P up 0.48, and Tesla now down 0.14. And now let's go find out if there's anything happening with regard to bonds or other things that might have caused a change in direction here. Yes, we have. Okay, so the bonds were down much stronger. The bonds were down under 4. The 10-year was down under 4, or near, I'm sorry, under 4.1. Now that has moved upward. So this is what probably is affecting. The bonds are still impacting the stock market more than any single thing, if you haven't noticed. So right now, U.S. 10-year is down 2.2 basis points. You've got the rest of them about the same on the long bonds. And by the way, interesting, the short bonds are down about the same also on yields, okay, the yields. So meaning that the bonds are up, the yields are down. Let's find out what's happening in the oil patch. We have got the oils at, okay, so oil is up 72 cents. This is new territory, recent new territory for oil. It's now at $75.13. It hasn't been above 74 bucks roughly for quite a while, although it's been around 74. So, I mean, this is not a huge thing, but it is definitely now worth watching, with Brent going over $80. We've got natural gas up 5% this morning, showing that continued volatility, but the volatility has been primarily down really big over the last 30 days. So a little bounce back. I don't know anything new about the Red Sea this morning that would cause this. Yes, we're getting a little cold weather finally, but maybe this is just folks starting to bottom fish, looking for an opportunity to grab some bottom of the market. Okay, gold is break even this morning. Silver is up 1%. We've got copper up 2.31%. That's pretty strong. Again, could be that we have some people bargain hunting there. The dollar is actually down a little bit this morning against the British the British pound, the euro, and the Japanese yen. And then we've got Bitcoin finally bouncing back, but under 40,000 still at 39.8. And yeah, that gives you the full range of what's going on right now. Tesla at this point still down 27 cents. So it started out around $2 up, now down just a little bit. It'll be interesting. I don't think you can really gather any kind of information from what happens this morning, other than where people are with regard to how they see earnings coming in later this morning. People trying to take advantage of, a potential beat or a potential miss. Whichever way you think it's going to go today is probably how you're betting this morning with regard to Tesla stock. Okay, so we want to also video yesterday with Brian White is now more important to watch than ever. With the Reuters article saying that production of the Gen 3 is not until mid 2024, 2025 rather, then Brian's thinking that it's at the end of this year, as I just confirmed. I still think that's what's going to happen. The rollout is at the end of 2024. They're going to get up to 10,000 a month by the middle of 2025. That totally makes sense to me. I think that's what's going to happen. Again, it doesn't matter a lot, but if you're interested, there is the card for that video with Brian yesterday, where he explains his reasons that the car will actually be breaking later this year. And then, of course, hit like and subscribe and notify. Of course, buy your Cybertruck bottle opener. Don't forget to buy that. You know you want 1 or 10 or 100. You know you want to do that. And then obviously joining Patreon would be a huge help. And let me just leave you with this thought. Tesla is now back in the green. It's been great talking to you. Look forward to seeing you later with Larry Goldberg at the end of the day, and a pre-game show around 11 California time. It's lovely, as always.